I'm so happy that you came. As a salesperson myself, I'd love to know how you got into this industry and this, like, kind of the fundamental time when sales became your thing.
All right, so getting into it, and when I knew sales was my thing, they're completely detached, right? Completely
nice.
detached. So getting into it was sort of an accident. I was in South Beach, Miami. When I was younger, more hair, better looking, I was a model. And so modeling is similar to baseball. You have like A League, B League, C League, what is it? Double A, Triple A, whatever that thing is, the majors, right? We're going to Miami, South Beach during the season was sort of like getting into Triple A, right? New York, Milan, that's the majors, right? So I was doing that, and it was going, and a buddy called and said, you need to come home, I got a job for you. And it was in sales. And he's like, and this was in 1996, 95. And he was like, it pays $60,000 a year. And I was like, doing the math. I'm like, that's $1,000 a week. I'm home. Like, I was like, fuck this, I'm out of here. So I went home, and then the rest, it just took off from there. I liked it, I was good at it. How I knew I was good at sales, and looking in hindsight, was I think it was one of those ones I didn't realize at the time, but as I look back, it was clear as day. So when I was in college, I had a Jeep, and I went out drinking with a bunch of buddies. Should not have been driving home, but I drove home nonetheless. And statute of limitations, sorry, folks. So anyways, I lived on this campus, and it had this big rolling, big lawn. And so I went through the guard gate, and the road went to the right of the lawn. I just saw the lawn, and I had a Jeep, and I was like, guys, let's see what this could do. So I took it straight across the lawn. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, I wasn't, because the guard gate was right there, and everybody saw me. So, of course, the next morning, I had a call from the dean, and she was like, what the fuck were you thinking? And just ripped into me, and she said, you're out of here. You're off campus. Well, I was an emancipated minor. I was only 20 or 19. I had nowhere to go. I had no money. And so I looked her right in the eye, and I said, listen, is your objective here to kick me out of school? She said, no, this isn't kicking you out of school. But you do not have the right to live here anymore. And I said, well, listen, you kicking me off campus equates to me having to leave school, because I have no money. I have no friends. There'll be nowhere to live. I'm not from here. This is my home. I'm emancipated. This is it. So if I leave here and can't come back, I can't come back to school. She thought about it for a minute, and she goes, okay, that's not my intention. So you're off for 2 weeks, figure it out, and you can come back. So the reason I tell that story is, just like Gap Selling and everything I do now, I didn't make it about me. I made it about her. Even though it sounded like me, I was like, what is your objective? What is your desired outcome? And I made sure that whatever she did delivered to her desired outcome, which then resulted in me not getting thrown off campus.
So you like to flip the script?
Oh, all the time. All the time. It's always about the other person.
So how did you get the title of chief antagonist? How do you go from being a great sales guy or the sales guy to that?
Look, sales is about antagonizing, right? Sales is about change. Let's start there, right? Anytime you want to sell something, you're asking somebody to change, right? And so just like I like to use the example of a washing machine, right? When you have a washing machine, it agitates everything. Well, antagonizing is just a synonym for agitates, right? So I'm very much the type of guy who just pushes and prods and irritates, agitates, antagonizes to create the motion to get change to happen, right? Because you can't change if you just leave everything as status quo and you don't push, challenge, antagonize to get some different type of outcome. So that's where it came from.
Are you always this full of energy?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Except when I'm not. Except when I'm not.
Does that help in your selling process? I mean, is energy part of it?
No.
No.
Believe it or not. No.
Tell me about that.
So I'm this energetic when I'm excited or I'm passionate about something. I'm very passionate about selling. I'm very passionate about making a difference. So I enjoy it. When I'm actually selling, I'm actually very calm, because my selling approach is very, very, very question oriented. Just like that woman who said, you're off campus. And my first statement was, no, you can't do that. My first reaction was, what's your objective, right? So when I sell and I'm getting on the phone with somebody, I will ask 25, 30, 40 questions. Sometimes it goes an hour and a half, and they're just talking and talking. I'm very calm, very inquisitive, very connected to the questions I'm asking. I mean, it is a very deliberate process. And so I have energy, but it's not off the charts.
I feel like that plays into it, though. If you weren't passionate, they wouldn't answer your questions, right?
Yes, but what's interesting, when you're asking questions, at least the way I do it and when I teach people is, I'm not asking questions for an expected answer. I'm actually asking questions to understand. So I don't know what's coming. I literally try to say, I don't know what's behind any of these doors, so just open. Not like, I know what's behind that one, so I'm gonna open that one first, and then I know this one. So because of that, I can't be very passionate because I don't know yet.
Sure.
Right? So it really is a very deliberate, calm, I mean, I'm not monotone, tell me about this. But no, it's like, wait, can you walk me through this again? You said this, or could you please explain this? So tell me how you do this. And am I understanding this correctly? And I just ask and ask and ask and ask. And it all of a sudden starts to paint a picture, like paint by numbers, right? That didn't have lines. That'd be kind of cool, actually. I don't know how to do that. And so the passion doesn't really come out towards the end. And I'm like, oh, I get this. Motherfucker, I know what all your problems are, and I know what, yes. And then I kind of get excited because I realize I can see what to do now.
So in your keynote, you talk about problem-centric selling. So how does that play into the conversation we're having now?
Look, at the end of the day, the reason I ask all these questions and I'm not coming in all fired up, like when we talked, I was on the phone, right? When I first walked up and someone's trying to sell me something. And he asked all these requirements. I'm looking to build an app. And I mean, they're good questions, but he has no idea why I need this app, right? He has no idea what's behind it. He has no idea what the objective is. He's nothing. So he's really a shitty salesperson. Sure. I mean, I know well enough, so I'll keep talking to him and I'll have to do the math myself. But what people don't understand is when I think about selling, when I drive gap selling, is I want to understand what the problem is. Nobody buys anything. Nobody makes a decision. Nobody changes unless there's a perceived problem in their current state and they want to change to a desired future state. If you don't have that problem, you don't change. Period. End of discussion. So before I start talking about your future state and where you should go and why you should go there and how great it is and how wonderful it is, I stop and say, what's going on today? What are you suffering with? What's the problem?
So I see you as a storyteller. Do you see yourself as a storyteller?
At the end. At the end. But because again, it's interesting. I don't know what story to tell you. I don't know your situation.
Sure.
I don't know what your current state is. So without the current state, you are absolutely, it's impossible to influence a sale if I don't know your current state.
So if you could give advice to a newer salesperson or someone less experienced, what advice would you give them?
Learn to diagnose. Right? I liken it to being a doctor. Like, you could have the best storytelling doctor in the world. You could have the doctor who knows all the remedies in the world. You could have a doctor who has the greatest understanding of anatomy and biology and physiology and all that. But if they don't know how to diagnose, they're useless. Because they'll prescribe the wrong medication, they'll prescribe the wrong routine or whatever it is to fix it, they'll fall in the wrong diagnosis. So they actually got to learn to diagnose. And we've all seen it, actually. Let me ask you a question. You ever been to a doctor and you told them something's wrong? I got a rash, I got a headache, whatever. And they ask one or two questions and say, oh, I think it's this. Do this, go home, and let me know what happens. Right? How good does that make you feel?
Not very secure.
Not good.
Yeah.
But have you ever been to a doctor, and if you haven't, I'm sorry, and hopefully you find one someday, who asks all these questions, some really random ones too, like do your kids play with earthworms? What the? Right? Like, just really random stuff. And you're wondering, what are they doing and why am I asking these questions? And then by the time they're done, they're like, I think I know what this is. And they tie it all back together and they're like, I want you to do this because how much more comfortable are you with them?
That's my doctor.
You got a good doctor, right?
Right.
Most salespeople like that first doctor.
Sure.
And they have no idea.
So what do you recommend in terms of training? How do you get there? Not everybody's an expert. Not everybody knows the right questions to ask. How do you get there?
So what I talk about is you got to first understand the problems that you solve, right? Sure. And this is the easiest part. I don't care what you sell. If you sell furniture, if you sell camera equipment, if you sell software for managing healthcare records, I don't care what it is you sell. The reason your problem exists is it solves a problem.
Sure.
By definition and by default, that shit solves a problem. And it amazes me how much time businesses spend on teaching you the product, but not actually what fucking problems that product solves.
Sure.
So sit down, get with product, get with marketing, get with sales leaders, I don't care, and write down the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major business problems your product sells. Then go learn how those business problems are impacted or impact an organization. Like, how does it impact them negatively? And then understand the root causes to those.
Sure.
And then when you go in and get someone on the phone, just start looking for that problem. And then to say yes, and say, oh, well, let me ask you a question. Because you have this problem, do you find this happens and that? That's the impact. This is, yes, I do. No shit, right? Can you tell me how bad that is? And you do enough of that, and okay, I can solve it. Let me tell you how I'd solve it with Polly.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's easy if you know the problems.
Sure. So in our industry, problems are starting to kind of cross-pollinate because it's technology and everything is app-based today. So we're taking on different types of technology than we ever have before. Do you have any advice on new things that you're not familiar with and how you
Yeah, so first thing
study
I
up?
say is stop talking about technology. A technology problem is not a business problem, right? So for instance, if this mic stops working, is that a technical problem or a business problem?
Technical problem.
Okay, right. If this mic stops working, but these cameras still pick up our voices just as well, and they can still deliver a dope-ass video for the blog and social media, is there a business problem here?
No.
So if you're a salesperson, I say to you, this is broken, but you don't find out whether it impacts the business and what the business problem is, and there isn't one, you're running around saying you have to buy this, the mic is broken. No, I don't. I'm loud, it's picking up, it hasn't affected it, so no, you're wrong. So there's a perfect example of how salespeople fuck this shit up every day. They constantly focus on the technology. The technology's broken, you need this technology, you need this tech. No. How does it affect my business problems and my business outcomes, and how badly does it affect those, and then we can talk.
That makes perfect sense. What you shared with us today is gold. So we appreciate you being here. We loved the keynote that you provided for us, and I want to personally thank you for this interview.
My pleasure, that was great. That was dope.
Awesome. Thank you.